Yeah, I loved it. It was great. It's taken me a little while to warm up to Jennifer, but I mean, the CGI is still an issue. I think they made a mistake making She-Hulk look so different from the actual actress, so they couldn't just like put her in makeup and have her film with forced perspective to make her look bigger. That would have worked a lot better, I think, than the CG. It really, I'm really noticing it. Whereas the first episode or two, I didn't notice it so much, but the last couple of episodes, I did. But I didn't really want to say anything because so many people are piling on the show. I didn't want to say anything negative, but yeah, there are moments where it's just really, really, really. She just feels really CGI. Not so much the face, but the body and mostly the clothes actually, which were a big issue this episode. Now this episode was kind of interesting. I thought it was going to be really boring because I thought, God, why are they doing a story about her being sued? I mean, her suing someone for using her copyright, blah, blah, blah. I thought it wouldn't be very interesting, but they did a good job with Titania, who I just saw. She was just on The View being interviewed, and people keep calling her Titania. And I'm like, okay. Which she alleges has something to do with her, So yeah, it was good. I like the way that they took apart the case. Titania was just exploiting their name. She copyrighted it because Jennifer didn't think to copyright her own superhero name, which apparently others didn't have to because it's their real name, like Thor and Doctor Strange. I'm like, okay. Do they not have other identities? I didn't really think about it. And I'm like, no, they don't. They are those people. So I guess if you're going to have an alternative identity, you're going to have to actually copyright it. Otherwise, someone else can use the name. Didn't really think about it, just like she didn't. But she didn't want it. And then she started to own it and use it. And they were able to use that. And they actually pulled up all the guys she dated as evidence, which was fairly embarrassing on her part. Although the last one's hot. But the other guys are a mess. And there was a nice little scene with the girls in the bar basically talking about how even a superhero woman still has to deal with loser men who think that, they can do better. And it is a bit like that. So the other part of the episode where they were chasing a superhero, they needed just clothes for her. Like, she just wanted a suit to go to work in because she has this dull grey suit she wears all the time, which looks awful, and the CGI is not great. And they find this guy who makes the superhero suits, superhero clothes. He apparently is exclusive. They've got to him, and they got her in there, and he didn't want to do it because she's like, who is this woman? I don't even know her. And they said she was an Avenger, and they're like, no, she's got to be an Avenger, just hasn't been announced yet. So they managed to get her in there, and he's like, ugh. But then he gets intrigued by the idea of making a suit that can be worn in both her forms, in both her sizes. So then he starts getting sucked in, and he does actually make her a bunch of suits and things. At the end of the episode, she goes in to try them on, and then we see him packing up a hat box with the Daredevil's hat. Now, I think it's the Daredevil from the Netflix show, which I've never seen. Not obviously the Daredevil from the movies, who had a red costume or red mask or red hood. This one is like gold. And apparently he's going to be in the show, I think, is what everyone was talking about, some rumour. And it is a bit sad how many people are still trashing the show. And they're doing it just for political reasons, just for the sake of getting clicks and getting attention. And all these people saying how this show is misandrous or whatever it's called. Misandry, I don't know what the exact term is. Basically, they're saying she hates men, the show hates men, and it's a man-hating show, and there's no men that are treated with any respect, except her father. They do acknowledge her father gets treated with respect. But I mean, okay, they had one lawyer who was a douche, but they have the other lawyer who's cool, like he collects, sneakers, and he was the one who actually got got in with the designer guy, and him and her assistant were like going around to different places trying to find this information. They're now having to buy a bunch of fake Avengers merchandise and all that, and it was all pretty funny. It was all pretty good. I totally enjoyed it. I don't understand why people are trashing it, except for the fact that these people have nothing else to do because they're not creative people. They're not artists. They don't create anything. So it's just easier to just trash something and make a living out of trashing other people's work and hating people and monetizing hate. It's just really sad. And I know that my video, which is just saying I love the show, no one's going to care because there's nothing shocking, there's no gossip, there's no drama. It's just someone liking something and talking about it and sharing it. And that's not interesting to people. People want hate, people want, drama and trashing, and it's just sad. But I'm going to go, and I'm going to go watch something else that I enjoy. Thanks, bye.